I was recently involved in the best shoulder dystocia I've ever been a part of. And I know that sounds really weird to say, the best obstetrical emergency I've ever been a part of. But I want to tell you all the things that we did right as a team to save this baby. As a reminder, a shoulder dystocia happens when the baby's face comes out, but the shoulder is stuck behind the pubic bone. It's dangerous because when that baby's trigeminal nerve in their face hits air, it tells the body that it wants to now switch its circulation from getting oxygen from the placenta to now breathing in oxygen into its lungs. But it can't because it's still stuck within the vacuum of its parent, and the umbilical cord is caught in the tightest part, so it's not getting oxygen either way. And when we notice this is happening, we only have a few minutes to get the baby out before we can have severe neurological problems and or death. So I was sitting at the desk. I was not even involved in this patient's care yet. There was a patient that had been pushing for hours and hours. And yes, you can push for hours and hours, and it does not mean that you're going to have a shoulder dystocia. It's just something that we tack away in the back of our nursey brain that this baby is having not the easiest time coming out. So the rapid response nurse who was on that day, Mary, calls me and she said, "Hey Jen, can you bring me a couple of stools to this room?" That tells me that Mary has that in her nursey brain that she is wanting to be prepared in case we have a shoulder dystocia. So I bring the stools and I notice that there's a few people in there already. I feel like they were okay. And so as I'm leaving, I see someone say, "Hey, that person has my same shoes." So I peek behind the curtain. I see my friend Precious. She's a doula. She's lovely. Precious Cargo Doula Services. And she's like, "Oh my God, it's my friend Jen." So we give each other a hug. But I am of the thought that if I am in your room enough to be able to see your chipmunk to the wind, you need to know who I am. So instead of leaving, I went to the patient. I said, "Hey, my name is Jen. I figure if I'm seeing your biscuit, you need to know me and my name." And at this moment, I'm starting to assess the situation of what I'm seeing down there also. And this baby is what we call crowned up, which means we can see like this much of the baby's head. But when she's pushing, we're seeing like this. Like we see this and then it sucks back in. See this, sucks back in. Doesn't always mean that you're going to have shoulder dystocia, but it's like a thing. So when the patient is not pushing, I tell her, I said, "Hey, in just a second, your baby's head is going to come out. And when your baby's head comes out, if your baby needs extra help getting out, you may see me or Megan or Mary kind of jump up on top of your bed and push on right above your pubic bone to help this baby get out. And we would only do that in order to keep you and your baby safe." The doctor who was delivering is a fellow doctor, so he has an attending doctor that works over him on shift. And Mary, who has 30-something years of nursing obstetrical experience, says to that doctor, "Hey, would you like me to call your attending just to have him on standby in case we need him?" And he said, "Yes, absolutely. We love a humble fellow who is not afraid to ask for help." So Mary calls this doctor, and I tell the patient, "Hey, we are inviting some extra friends to this happy birthday party, so if you see other people come in, I don't want that to alarm you." And as I'm saying that, I am pulling up my stopwatch on my Apple Watch so that when I see that baby's chin, I can press the go button and I will have an accurate timer of how long the shoulder dystocia has been if it does end up being a shoulder dystocia. Right after I pull up my stopwatch, I need to press it because that baby's head comes out. And the fellow doctor assesses the position of the baby's shoulder and points to the nurse on the patient's left side, Megan, who is going to be the one who needs to give suprapubic pressure. He says, "Megan, I need you to push this way." She gets up there, she does her thing. 16 seconds after this baby's chin has emerged from the loins, we have determined it's a shoulder dystocia. We are now giving suprapubic pressure. The doctor comes in, the attending doctor, and I'm able to tell him, "Doctor, this has been going on for 16 seconds. And he begins to put on gloves to help the fellow in order to resolve the shoulder dystocia. So while they are trying to resolve the shoulder dystocia, me and my friend Erin go over to the warmer. We press the code APGAR button, which is normally what we push when we have like a baby code blue. But we know that this baby, when this baby comes out, is not going to be having the best time ever. And we would rather go ahead and call our friends from the NICU down so they can be here when the baby comes out. We also set up all of our resuscitative equipment. We got our oxygen set up, we got our suction set up, we got our PEEP and our PIP, and we are ready to go to give PPV, aka giving breaths to a baby who needs extra help. And 1 minute and 16 seconds after the shoulder dystocia happened, the baby comes out. And guess what? The baby is not having the best time ever. And the baby gets brought over to me and Erin, and we are immediately able to give breaths to this baby because that baby's heart rate is low. In just a few seconds after we get the baby, our NICU team walks in and they take over. And just a few seconds later, the baby begins to cry. No one was freaking out. No one was yelling. It was like a well-oiled obstetrical emergency machine. It was beautiful. And when that baby started acting right, got to go right to the mom, go do some skin to skin, and did not have to go to the NICU.